Welcome back everyone, it's MegaMayo here today, and today as things are starting to slowly get back to normal out there in the real world, I thought I'm going to make a couple of videos, the first time I'm doing these type of videos, of deck profiles. Basically these are my 2019 decks that I was playing in the competitive scene. I'm going to start taking these apart shortly after this video to make new decks so I can be competitive again. But for now, we'll get straight into it, and we'll start off with my Keldeo deck. Okay, let's get into it then. So basically, when I go to tournaments, I take these Ultimate Guard flip trays. Now they're really good because in the middle compartment, you can have all your dice and everything else. So you can pretty much take everything you need in your tournament. So I've got a personalised GX counter because I was part of a group of lads that decided to get these made. So they're really cool. So that was my own GX counter. Won't be needing them soon anyway. So I've got a couple of GX counters in case my opponent doesn't have one. Same again with the poison and fire. I have a few of them just in case my opponent doesn't have one or we need extra. Obviously then I've also got all my dice. So these are really good to take with you when you go playing tournaments, and they keep 2 decks in. This one is a 2-deck one, and basically I take 2 decks with me ready built with the sheets. So when I get there, sometimes I have a look around and see what people are organising on the table, and I might feel like I need to change the deck that I'm playing. I might feel the room's full of X deck, and I'll be like, oh man, the deck I was going to play is not going to be very good against that. And then I'll go to my second deck, so that's what I normally do. So this is my back end of 2019 Keldeo deck in this video. So if I just open this up, as you can see, 2 compartments, beautiful. So you've got 2 decks you can take with you. So we'll start off with Keldeo for day. So if we just get that out of here, and we'll just close them up out of the way. So we'll see how we get on looking through my Keldeo deck. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do this yet. I might change it for the next video. I don't know. See if we can get it in nicely in order. So yeah, so this is my Keldeo deck. So Keldeo had a wonderful ability that prevents all attacks, including damage done to this Pokemon by your opponent's GXs or EX deck. EX Pokemon. So it was really good if your opponent was playing a really heavy GX deck with no basics. There was a few exceptions that could get past this ability, but for the whole, for a while, it was really good because it was like a really nice wall while you get set up and get ready to do damage to your opponent themselves. So yeah, we'll go through the deck. So we have in my build, we have 1, 2, 3 Keldeos. Now these are really good. You'd love to get one in your open your hand and put it in the active spot to start off. That'd be an ideal start normally. And then this deck normally had a nickname, QUAGNAG, just because it has an engine basically that's running this whole deck. And what runs the whole deck is Quagsire and MegaMayo. So we'll go on to them. So obviously we've got Wooper, which is the basic of the evolved form Quagsire. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 Wooper, as you can understand, because we need to get them Quagsires out for the ability. And now we have Quagsire. Now I have 3 in this deck of the Quagsire with a washout ability. As I said, this makes up part of the engine that runs this deck. So its washout ability, as often as you like during your turn, before you attack, you may move as many water energies from one of your bench Pokemon to your active Pokemon. So if you've got 4 Pokemon with energy on the bench, you can move energy from each of them in turn and put them onto your active, so you're ready to attack. So this is the way we safeguard our energy on the bench, and we can bring it forward when we want to make an attack. And it's got a really good attack himself, which I've used many times to take big KO hits. Hydro Pump for 3 energy, and this attack does 20 more damage times the amount of energy on this. So if you've got 12 energy on the board, you're doing some big damage just with this alone. So in this deck I run 3 copies of Quagsire in this list, and I run a 4th Quagsire. Now the reason why I run this one is for lightning decks, mainly the Pikachu and Zekrom tag team. Now that deck is weak to rock, so it's awfully good occasionally that you've got a Wooper on the bench, you haven't evolved it yet. They might knock something out of yours, and if you've played it right, we might have only given one prize away. You put up that lonely Wooper, and they're thinking, why is he putting up a Wooper in the active position? Comes around to your turn, as long as Wooper's been on your bench for a turn. Bam, Quagsire, rock one, and you've got one of these set up on your bench. You move your energy forward, and you're knocking out a tag team and taking 3 prizes, right, just like that. So this is a wonderful little tech piece. Had some great fun doing that exact move. So next we go on to the other part of the engine. Now the other part of the engine is run by MegaMayo, and MegaMayo's basic Pokemon is Pulpul. And now I have 2 different ones in here. So I run 4 of them, but one of them has the attack Spit Poison. Now sometimes I used to have opening hands where I'd just have these in my hands. Now the other one's okay because you get to have a look at your prize cards, but sometimes it's really cheeky if you start with this one and you Spit Poison and they get poison, you get some damage on the board. It can make the difference. Getting that energy on with the poison, damage on with poison, sometimes can make the difference in the game, and it has done in some of my games. So we got 4 of them, and the other part of the engine is your Naganadel. Now Naganadal's got an ability. So once during your turn before you attack, you may attach a basic energy card from your discard. This is really good because there's some trainer cards that we got later on that help you discard the energy to you. So if you started a hand with a lot of energy, you get rid of them, and once you've evolved into this, the idea is you're always putting your energy from your discard back onto Naganadel. And because of Quagsire's ability, this is why it's called QUAGNAG, you can move all the water energy that you've brought from your discard onto Naganadel, onto whoever your active Pokemon is. So basically you're getting energy back from the discard, and then you're putting it forward and you're attacking straight away. It is a fantastic concept, and it really works really well. So we run 4 Naganadels. So that's the engine of the deck. Next we have a Denani GX, because it's sometimes really good to just get rid of cards in your hand. Let's say you've got a load of energy in your hand, and you can't play support because it's your first turn, let's say, for example, as it is now, but you want to get the energy in the discard and you want to get going and setting up. Denani is perfect for that, and it's always good for refreshing your hand if you're drawing out. So really good card, obviously really playable. Next we got some tech pieces, and we got Mew. Mew's there to help any damage, because there's some decks that like to put damage onto your bench. Mew protects you, so that's a really nice little tech piece. Also got Volcanion. Now Volcanion actually helps you quite a lot. It also makes your engine run for this deck, and it helps for you to drag up your opponent. So its ability is you may discard a water energy card in your hand once a turn, and now your opponent has to switch their Pokemon. You don't get to choose, your opponent gets to choose. But if you've got you're staring down a really big card in their active position, and you know you can't survive next turn if that's still in the active, playing Volcanion ability makes them switch it out, and if they haven't got any switch cards or they haven't got no way of retreating, you could save yourself with this card. Plus it also gets your energy into the discard, so it's absolutely perfect for this deck. And as I say, these things are rotating out soon anyway. But so yeah, the next one we've got Ditto, as I say, because this deck is an evolution deck primarily. So this gives you a 5th basic of either Woopers or Pulpuls. So it's a really good card because it can evolve into anything for you. So it absolutely fits into this deck. Wonderful. And then we have the wild card of the deck. Now this is Magikarp and Wailord Team Law. Yeah, tag team Magikarp and Wailord GX. Now it's got really good HP, so it's really good as a bit of a wall, but it's really here for its GX attack. Now, on a few occasions I have won games by taking, I think I took in one game 5 prizes with 1 attack. It was really good. So the Towering Splash GX, if I bring this up a bit closer, it basically, if this Pokemon has at least 7 extra energy cards attached other than the energy needed to do the attack, this does 100 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So that's fantastic. So you can do 100 damage to every bench Pokemon that they have, and then obviously does 10 damage to the active. Now I used this in one of my games, let's say when I took 5 prizes. I had 4 on the bench, all with less than 100 HP remaining, or had less HP than 100, and the active Pokemon only had 10 HP left remaining. So I took 5 prize cards and won the game with this, and it was a fantastic moment in the tournament, and I would love to replay that again. So yeah, it's a bit of a wild card. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It is very hard to get going, but when it does, and if you get it right, fantastic things happen. So we're moving on to the trainers. So, and here we have Erica's Hospitality. Now I only run 1 copy of this, and it's just 1 copy because it's another supporter, and you can only play it if you've got 4 or less cards in your hand. What you draw a card for each of your opponent's Pokemon in play. Now this can be really good late game if you've burnt through all your Cynthias and all your other things. If they've got 6 Pokemon in play, it's great for refreshing your hand. So I had 1 copy in here. Cynthia, now it's the best draw supporter we've got. Shove your hand into that and draw 6 cards. So we run 4 because it is a fantastic card. Next we have Lily. Now we have 4 copies of Lily. Now it's not as good as Cynthia, but it was very good at the time. It was very good when you could play supporters. That's why it's here. Back in 2019, you could actually play supporters going first. So if you kept 4 of these in your deck and you went first, you can draw up to 8 cards in hand. So if you, I don't know, got rid of everything in your hand, let's say for example, you played it all down and you were able to build up your deck and then drop this, you could get 8 cards going first, and that did happen quite a lot. So got 4 of them, and then we've got Pokemon Communication. Now Pokemon Communication, very good for helping you set up. If you have got a load of evolved Pokemon in your hands but you do not have the basics on your bench or in your hand, this will get it for you. You know, you just swap them into your deck and then pull them out your deck and you're off and rolling. So we have 3 copies of that. Next we have Mysterious Treasure. We have 3 of them. This is perfect for getting your Polpols or your Naganadels out. I normally use these to get my Naganadels out. So basically you discard a card from your hand. If you do, you can search for a Psychic or a Dragon Pokemon, reveal it and put it into your hand. Obviously shuffle your deck, so fantastic for getting out them Pokemon that you need to evolve. Now Pokegear, basically look at the top 7 cards, and you basically, it's looking for a supporter. So if you can find a supporter and then top 7 cards, you get the supporter in your hand. So it's always good to see what's in your next sort of 7 cards, and if you can get a supporter, brilliant. So that's 2 copies. Now I have a single copy of U-Turn Board. Now why I have a single copy is in some games I was having trouble retreating a Quagsire if it was dragged into the active, and I didn't want it in the active. You know, it is part of the engine. It's what I need to get the energy. I don't want it knocked out. So normally, if I set up a Quagsire on the bench, I'd make sure I attach one of these to it, which means it has free retreat. So if I lose a Pokemon or they drag a Pokemon up, when it's in the active, I can retreat it and put what I want in. So it was always nice to have a copy of that. So that was lovely. Next we have Custom Catcher. Now we have 4 Custom Catchers. Now it's pretty much the best switching option that you had back then. Basically it was a draw and a switch option. So if you played 1 of these at a time, you could draw up to 3 cards in your hand. If you played 2 together, you were able to switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with that active, so that was really good. You could choose, you play the 2 and you'd say I want that one into the active because you know you can knock it out, for example. And you know, sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. It did take up a lot of space in the deck, but we had 4 of them in here anyway. Next we have Viridian Forest. Now we have 2 Viridian Forests, and they're really good as again. because you can discard that energy to get an energy card, basically. So you're getting rid of an energy in your hand, putting it in the discard because you know you can reattach it to Naganadel, and then you're getting a Viridian Forest, using the Viridian Forest to draw out another energy card from your deck because you want to attach another energy. So that turn you're attaching 2 energies doing that, attaching 1 for turn, and then you're attaching the one that you discarded from the discard pile with Naganadel. So it's another little combo, worked really well in this deck. So we had 2 Viridian Forests, so that was always really nice, and we also had a Lysander Labs. Now I had a few trouble with a few decks that were running some really nasty tool cards and things. So yeah, 1 copy of Lysander's Labs just helped in one of the matchups if you came up against it. As I say, it just filled the space up and just helped you out every now and again. Didn't use it too much, but it was always good if the opponent had a really good stadium card in play. You'd just throw this down just to get rid of their stadium. So, you know, that's why that was there. Then next we're on to the energy. So in this deck I ran 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 energy. So I ran 10 energy in that deck, and that's all 60 of this deck. So this is one of the decks I played in 2019, and as we're getting close to being allowed back out to play, I'm making some new decks. So let me know in the comment section down below, did you enjoy this type of video? Do you want more? Do you want to see what decks that I make for this season that we're now in? As I say, this was my Keldeo deck. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.